Welcome to the Dark World. Ironically, TJ was right. They actually really did have cookies. What's going on with y'all, big dog? And it is an amazing day for Yu-Gi-Oh! I hope that's your day. Phenomenal. But if it isn't, don't let what happened at the beginning of your day ruin the rest of your day. The Dark World Structure Deck just came out for everyone on Friday, which is November 2nd, I believe. And today I want to show you a new rendition of the Dark World deck that I've been playing ever since I played against TJ in Duel Challenge. It was actually really fun to be able to play against Dark World and learn the ins and outs, but I think I took the deck to another step, just a little bit further. Of course, I'm going to be telling you everything that I think about the Dark World deck, my theories, and of course, why I think that this deck could be pretty good, but this could be used as a basis to improve your particular Dark World deck and your Dark World game. Without further ado, welcome to the dark side of the rainbow. So playing this Dark World deck against TJ was a legit eye-opener, guys. This was really fun, not only to play against, but to also thoroughly test. This particular Dark World deck, I wanted to build to be able to address a few of Dark World's problems, and hopefully you guys, Dark World enthusiasts, can take some things from this particular list and grow Dark Worlds to be a little bit better. Of course, if you guys are wondering where I got this mat from, this is our new Clash of the Gods TheCaliEffect mat. You can only get this mat at TheCaliEffect.com. Look at Kashtira Finrir go against the Bestial Lubellion in an epic clash of what is some of the most powerful cards from the Darkwing Blast set. But other than that, let's go ahead and jump into this Dark World deck profile and welcome, guys, to the Dark World. For the monsters, I play 3 copies of Grapha. I think Grapha is actually a really powerful card and should be played at 3 because this is the card that you want to see in order to get a good combo. Next is 3 copies of Rainbow, the new Overking of the Dark World. This card allows you to be able to search monsters like your Grapha. And then I also play 1 copy of Gold and 1 copy of Silva. Through my testing, I've realized that Dark World is probably better as a deck that could go second and break your opponent's board, but also can abuse these Dark World monsters' second effect through the effect of Grapha, Dragon Overlord of the Dark World, the fusion monster, to be able to cycle cards into your opponent's deck or destroy cards into your opponent's turn. These cards are really easily searchable, and actually it's, in my opinion, it's essential that you play at least 2 level 5 monsters to be able to search with your Rainbow and also be able to summon to your side of the field to return to your hand. From there, for the little Dark Worlds, we play 3 copies of Snow. This is the best Dark World since Dark Worlds. It allows you to search any Dark World card when it's discarded. 3 copies of Brow. I don't think that Brow is necessarily really good because the only thing that it does is get you an additional draw. I feel like this is the weakest out of all the discard Dark Worlds that we currently play, but still being able to draw 1 to 2 cards is really good, and it being a tour guide target. Next is the underrated Dark World. A lot of people play 1 to 0. I actually play 2 copies of Beige Vanguard of the Dark World, and the reason why I think this card's so good is because not only is it a free summon, it's also a level 4 monster which comes up with this Dark World deck when you're trying to build a board. From there, I not only play 1, but 2 copies of Cerealie. I was actually playing 0, then I tried to play 1. The reason why I moved up to 2 is because there's so many situations where you can summon multiple Cerealies to your opponent's side of the field, which will trigger your Dark World card's second effects, and a lot of times those second effects can be really good. I finish it up with 1 copy of Parl, Hermit of the Dark World. This card's actually really good and wound up being in a late edition because it can summon any of my Dark World monsters to the side of the field, which I thought was pretty cool. But the hidden effect about this is that it basically says add any Dark World monster from your graveyard to your hand, because you would summon any of these monsters and then use Grapha or your Rainbow to return them to your hand to summon them back to the side of the field. So I thought it was a really good late addition. Now, for the people that may be on the Genta train, I am 1000% on the Genta train. I think Genta should be played at 3 in any Dark World deck because it searches your best spell card that you can use to be able to draw into your Dark Worlds and trigger their effects. Also, Genta is not a once per turn for its discard effect. Unfortunately, it is a once per turn for its summon effect. If it wasn't, I think the deck would be even more cracked. Ultimately, this is the only Dark World that I think that's worth playing that doesn't have a when this card is discarded effect. It's still a really good card. Now, a lot of players that I've been noticing have been playing packages inside of their Dark World cards, whether it's the Danger Engine to be able to hit the Dark World monsters and potentially summon danger monsters to your side of the field, or they've been playing cards like Dark World Dealings and Called by the Grave. And this particular build, I don't play either, and I have a really good reason. The reason why I don't play either of those is because the Dark World cards, or the Danger cards, require you to actually hit the Dark World cards consistently, and that's normally not a tried and true method to be a consistent good deck. Also, the Dark World Dealings and the Drag Down the Grave, those cards seem good on, normally on paper, and typically they can be good against some of the other decks, but against those decks that are graveyard manipulative like Tearlament or players that actually have a bad hand, essentially you're helping them get into their pieces. So I decided not to play any of those cards inside of the deck for that particular reason. With that being said, I played 2 copies of Salamander Catalyzer. This card is actually ridiculous. I think that it's a solid 2 of, but it's kind of bad and it's kind of good, because normally when you want to have discard effects in your deck, you want them to actually do something more than just summon a monster to your side of the field. Sometimes I get like, that's not that great, but it is an essential level 4 fiend body that you can put to your side of the field. I think overall, this is a really good card and a fairly good addition to the deck because it does allow you to pop off with some combos. The Gates of the Dark World, hands down, is the best Dark World card in the entire deck. Outside of Dark World Session, this card it's not once per turn. It allows you to boost your Fiend monsters, and it gives your Dark World monsters, their effects. And one thing that I've realized is that in the Yu-Gi-Oh card game, we're really short on cards that say, then discard 1 card, which would trigger your Dark World effects, or basically cards that discard your Dark World monsters for an effect and not for their cost. For the people that don't know what the difference between activation requirement or cost is, anything before that semicolon, like a card effect will have discard 1 card from your hand and you'll see like a semicolon or a colon. That would be cost, meaning that the Dark World monsters will not trigger their effects because that is not a part of the effect. So it's really hard to find those particular cards, but I think I found a formula that really works for me. And the thing is, I've been playing 1 copy of Dark World Archives. This card is booming when it's booming. The only problem is that it sucks when it sucks. I think that this card is actually tremendous because not only does it allow you to discard multiple Dark World cards, it actually allows you to cycle into more cards from your deck to your hand. It's a solid 1 of. I'm not gonna lie, this has been coming up in testing a lot. Sometimes it's really bad because you need to have a monster on your field to be able to activate its effect. But when this card gets going, it gets going. I just wish it had a graveyard effect. Next would be only 2 copies of Dark World Accession. This is probably the best card for the deck because it does allow you to discard Fiend monsters from your hand to fusion summon or banish, pretty much always giving you the opportunity to be able to summon your Grapha Dragon Overlord, but it also has a graveyard effect, which I think is heavily slept on, to be able to discard Dark World monsters. And to be able to supplement that, I play 3 copies of Foolish Burial Goods. Now, Foolish Burial Goods can not only send Dark World Accession, it can send a Metal Foes Fusion. So what this particular deck is built on is being able to obviously fusion summon into Grapha Dragon Overlord. And being able to get to this card is really important. The cool thing is that not only do I have Foolish Burial Goods to send a session to the graveyard to give me a higher chance of getting this card to my hand, it also triggers my Dark World effects when they're discarded, obviously, and it still allows me to fusion summon into my best card. So I figured out that getting into that card as fast as possible is probably one of the better things. And then in case I do already have the Accession, Metal Foes Fusion provides me a free draw card that can make all of my other Foolish Burial Goods live at a particular time. Now, I was playing more than 1 copy of Dark World Puppet, and I probably will try out more copies of this card because in testing, this card is really good. It is a blowout against some of the graveyard reliant decks. But like, if your opponent isn't playing a graveyard reliant decks, this card is like so mid. So it's like your boom or bust power card. It's really, really good from what I have experienced. Now, lastly, I do play 1 copy of Foolish Burial Goods. Foolish Burial Goods is actually came up on more than just sending Grapha from the deck to the graveyard. It's kind of crazy putting Dark World monsters in the graveyard to eventually special summon and return to your hand, or being able to put that particular card that you need to the graveyard. Now, lastly, I actually saw this on some other players' builds, and I thought that this was a really good addition. 3 copies of Tour Guide, being an old school homage to the Dark World decks. They've always ran Tour Guide to be able to summon Bage, but the Doom Dog Octros. This is what I've been seeing a lot of the Dark World players and a lot of my friends and a lot of players in Discord, my Discord, go ahead and join that if you guys want to have an awesome community, has been talking about. And basically, since your deck does not need your normal summon, you can use Tour Guide to summon Doomdog Octros, and Octros will be able to link off itself with the Tour Guide into a rainbow, or to search you a rainbow or a Grapha, which makes your a session or a free search live. I thought that this was crazy good. I don't play any Exceeds. I'm literally just going Tour Guide into Doomdog. And then there's also the off chance that you may Tour Guide into your Brow. Not gonna lie, I've never done that. I've always Tour Guide into Doomdog or Tour Guide in the Tour Guide to be able to make some free link plays. Now, the extra deck isn't complete. There's still some things that I want to do with this extra deck, but I'm going to explain why I went with this particular extra deck. I understand that there's a lot of Dark World loops, being able to loop Silva with your opponent. It's good. If you can consistently do it, I think the deck would probably be tier 1, but it's not even really consistent. You can't guarantee that you can loop your opponent every single time, and even then, it does have its flaws. So I probably wouldn't even say it maybe wouldn't even be tier 1 if that you could do that, but it is really nifty. I do have the ability to do it in this deck, but I don't focus on it. I actually focus on being able to make a ridiculous board or break an opponent's board, because Dark Worlds are actually really good at breaking boards. With that being said, I play 2 copies of Grapha Dragon Overlord of the Dark World. Of course, this is the big daddy boss monster. The guy's ridiculous. And for the Exceeds, I only play 1 Hope Harbinger. I was playing a bigger rank engine, but the only time I would make a rank 8 was making into Hope Harbinger. Every other time, I'd prefer to Link. 1 Daggerus, the Timeless. This card is completely a godsend, guys. It allows you to trigger your Dark World cards and draw 2 cards. 1 copy of Abyss Dweller. This is good for those graveyard-reliant decks. And I was playing Baguska too, but I don't know. I just feel like the matchups that were Baguska would be really good. I could just Dark World them to death, and that would be even better. The Akashic Magician rarely comes up. I do like that I can bounce other Dark World cards like Snow back to my hand when I special summon it with the God card that I do play into this deck, but it doesn't come up as much as you would like. 1 copy of Dark, the Dark Charmer Gloomy. This guy is phenomenal just because it's a dark deck. This is probably the best Link monster in the entire deck. It is a free special summon, which allows you to just keep on playing. I really want a ritual summon in this deck so I can trigger Cross Sheep's other effect, but not necessarily gonna happen in this particular build. 1 copy of McCraker. This guy, or this gal, is really good for when you want another big Dark World monster to your field, or when you really need to make a push. I really hate that it locks you into Fiend monsters, but it is what it is. Phoenix and Unicorn don't trigger your effects of Dark Worlds, but they do get over spot removal. 1 copy of Blackluster Soldier, Soldier of Chaos, because this card is actually extremely easy to summon and can be really powerful against your opponent. And then for the Link 4s, I play Saryuja Skull Dread. I actually dropped Access Code Talker for Saryuja because not necessarily the draw effect, because Saryuja is just ridiculously easy to get into. It can summon monsters to your side of the field that sometimes you may need, and then you can link it off into another card that I play in my deck for board breaking after you potentially draw more cards or whatever you wanted to do. Next is going to be Appaloosa, Bow of the Goddess. This card she's a godsend. A lot of times I'll end my board with her. And then 1 copy of World Sea Dragon Zelantis. The reason why this card is so powerful, I believe, in this deck is because making a Saryuja and then doing nothing is okay. But when you're going second, you can make the Saryuja, see the cards that you want to see, and then boop, World Sea Dragon Zelantis to help you break your opponent's board and keep playing. I think that Dark World is a really good going second deck to break your opponent's board. Obviously, if the meta actually does revolve around cards like Dimensional Fissure and whatnot, then making Nightmare Phoenix would probably be priority, which is why we play the cards like Tour Guide into the Doomdog, or we play, the Catalyzer, the Salamander Catalyzer. All of those cards are really important to be able to make those cards to be able to break that particular thing. And if they dimensional shifter us, well, we have a middle finger for them. Another card that I want to mention is that I really wanted to play this card. It works extremely well with McCraker because McCraker can summon a 3rd, and then all you need is another monster, which is not hard to be able to go into an Underworld, and she's a Fiend, but I didn't have enough room. I think that this deck can summon enough monsters. That's it for the main board and the extra deck. I'm going to show you guys 1 test stand, and then I am going to show my Patreon some more test stands as a special thanks for helping me pay my edit. Okay guys, so again, for the people that want to know where I got this mat, TheCaliEffect.com is the place to go, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be extremely fun to get this mat to you guys. I actually love this Clash of the Gods mat. And also, be on the lookout for another mat. We're picking up the mat production for you big dogs. So I can't wait to share with you what exactly is going on. So I got this deck kind of shuffled up. Let's go ahead and see what we get. We get a Grapha here, so that's pretty good. A Metal Foes Fusion, a Dark World Accession, a Snow, and a Jinta. This hand is actually pretty good. I hate drawing Metal Foes Fusion, but sometimes that's just how life be, guys. You never want to draw this card, but fortunately enough, it actually is a good target for your card effects like McCraker, and of course your Nightmare card, so that always comes up. Let's see how this hand plays out with the rest of it. What I would do first is I would activate the effect of Jinta here. We would use Jinta's effect to be able to get the Gates of the Dark World, and then I would activate the effect of Gates of the Dark World, and then use Gates to banish our Jinta, discard our Snow, and here we're gonna draw a Beige. Now, of course, the effect of Snow here will activate. That allows us to get a Dark World monster from our decks to our hand. Really interesting to see what I want to do here. I think I want a special summon. I think Pearl actually might be the card to go into here. I think that might be it. I'm confident. Oh no, but if I don't go into another Jinta, I don't think I have another discard outlet, but oh no, because I have Snow, cool. So from here, we'll activate Dark World Accession. This time around, I'll have to discard 2. I'll discard Paul and Grapha to be able to fusion summon into my Grapha Dragon Overlord, and then we'll trigger both the effects of Grapha's Chainlink 2 since it's mandatory, and the effects of Pearl. Actually, Pearl has to be Chainlink 2 because it is a mandatory. We'll special summon the Snow here, and then we will, oh man, we got some other cool options here. We can return the Snow to be able to special summon the Grapha. And here's where Dark World Accession really does come in and helps us make like this whole deck work. I'll use the effect of Accession to add itself to the hand, discarding the Snow. And now we'll trigger Snow's effect. Oh, I'm sorry, Jinta was supposed to get special summoned as well. I'm completely goofed on that card effect. We'll special summon Jinta back to our side of the field. And then Snow will activate again. This time around, I'll add a Jinta and then use the Jinta's effect for another copy of Gates of the Dark World. Now, I really needed that extra Gates because I needed another way to discard. Here's where sometimes players would add cards like Dark World Dealings, but since we don't play cards like Dark World Dealings, Jinta is gonna have to be our search card to allow us to continue playing. And I gotta say, I think we're doing a really, really good job so far. This could be a crazy board. One thing I do wanna mention is that you guys should always use the effect or place your Grapha into this zone, or this zone with this particular deck, and I'll explain if we get into it. So we have the second Gates of the Dark World on the field. We'll use its effect to banish Jinta. Well, no, we can keep Jinta in the graveyard just in case we banish it. What a session our opponent's turn. We'll discard the Pearl. We'll discard the banish the Pearl, discard the Beige, and we'll draw a tour guide, and we have not committed our normal summon. So the effect of Beige will activate to special summon itself to the side of the field. And here's where we have an interesting situation, because as you guys can see right here, we could go ahead and link summon or exceed summon. Hypothetically, if we had a card in our hand, we can exceed summon into Daggerus here, which would be crazy. But I don't think that will be the move right here. I actually think it would be best to use these two monsters for a link summon. And we're gonna link summon into Cross Sheep that points to our Grapha. We'll then go ahead and normal summon Tour Guide from the Underworld, activating Tour Guide's effect. Tour Guide will special summon a Doom Dog to our side of the field. Actually, no, I apologize. My apologies. We're not going to do that. We're going to go back a little bit, and I just realized I had something way, way, way better. So make sure not to put Jinta to where Cross Sheep and these two would connect, right? What I would do is I would use these two monsters for a link into Cross Sheep. That is way better. Then we'll normal summon Tour Guide, trigger the effect of Tour Guide to be able to special summon from our deck to the side of the field, which will special summon our Doom Dog Octros. Now, if I remember correctly, this will proc the effect of Cross Sheep. Oh, I guess it didn't matter because I just special summoned it back anyways. If a monster is special summoned to a zone this card points to, we'll apply that effect to be able to special summon from the graveyard to the side of the field. We can special summon a Snow here. I think that would be best. Then we will use the effect of Grapha to bounce the Jinta to summon the Grapha. And then we can use the Doom Dog, the Grapha, the Tour Guide, and the Cross Sheep. I guess I would technically be overpaying. Not really overpaying in a sense like I can't do this, but this will be a 4 Disruption Appaloosa Boat of the Goddess here. This might cost me the card that I want to play a little later. So we'll then trigger the effect of Doom Dog Octros here. We will use that effect to be able to add a Rainbow from our decks to our hand, and I think we're going to be in a legitimately good spot, guys. I think it's going to be on and cracking. Hold on, I gotta think though. So we have the Rainbow in our hand. We'll be able to search again. Yeah, this is good. We'll then use Jinta again since it's not once per turn. And with that, we'll be able to search our 3rd and final copy of Gates of the Dark World. I think genuinely, I just need another monster in the graveyard to finish our full board. I think we'd be okay with that, right? And again, there's so many ways to be able to make this first turn board, guys. It's kind of ridiculous how this deck can make just so many crazy things, guys. I haven't even gotten to use my effect of Cerealia or anything, so we're gonna have to see exactly what this does. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and activate Gates number 3. Then I'm going to bounce the Snow. I think that's the correct move to be able to special summon Grapha to our side of the field since it's not once per turn. And now we'll use the effect of Gates. We'll pitch, oh no, wait, timeout. Oh, we need multiple cards in our graveyard. I think I have to pitch the Snow. I will banish, we can banish any Fiend, so we can banish Tour Guide, pitch the Snow. We'll draw Dark World Archives. Interesting. Snow's effect will activate. Okay. So I'm kind of seeing the line here. We could add a Cerealia here. Oh, here's where it gets crazy, guys. Here's where it's going to get crazy. I think we got it. We'll activate Archives here, right? Then we'll activate Archives effect. We'll discard the Cerealia, which obviously you guys should already know what Cerealia does. It special summons itself to our opponent's side of the field and then triggers its effect. We'll also, oh wait, no. If we added Cerealia, oh no, I missed it. No, because this is just draw, discard a card, right? Yes, we'll do that. We'll banish this, we'll summon the Cerealia, right? Then we'll trigger the effect of Archive since we discarded and the effect of Cerealia. We'll discard the Metalfoes Fusion, which is dope. That's dope, which allows us to draw 2 cards here, 2 free cards, guys. We're going to draw an Accession again and a Tour Guide. That's good for follow-up. Then Cerealia will force us to discard Rainbow, which will trigger both of Rainbow's effects. This allows us, if I remember correctly, to add a level 5 and then special summon a level 4 or lower, which is crazy. We'll summon the Snow since, you know, it was discarded by an opponent's card. And then we will add from our decks to our hand, we need a level 5. I will add Gold this time, right? And then we will bounce the Snow to our hand to be able to special summon Rainbow. And now Rainbow with the Grapha will be used for an Exceed summon into Hope Harbinger. So I think this is kind of crazy, guys. Look at our inboard. The only thing that I'm missing, the only thing that I wish that I had in this particular inboard would be Dark World Puppet, which is like, I don't think my opponent's winning through that. Oh, wait, we still got to activate Metalfoes Fusion. Oh my God, I forgot about that. We'll go Metalfoes Fusion. I think it goes to the bottom. You can shuffle this card into the deck. We'll go Metalfoes Fusion to place it, shuffle it into our deck, and then we draw 1 card. Let's go ahead and see. It's another Tour Guide. Unlucky. Well, kind of. I guess it doesn't matter because we have multiple beige in the deck. But our inboard is a Hope Harbinger, which is really, really ridiculous in this particular situation, saying that our opponent won't be able to attack over our 4 Disruption Appaloosa, which is Appaloosa's normal weakness. We have a Grapha, which I don't know if you guys recognize, but Grapha, the Overlord, says we can discard Gold from our hand to turn our opponent's card effect to discard Gold from our hand, and then Gold will summon to destroy 2 more cards. Appaloosa's 4 negations. Hope Harbinger, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 disruptions and steal 6 cards in hand with a field spell and everything in between. I'm not saying that this deck is the end-all be-all or the best Dark World version, even though Cerulea is on the field, so they can't use cards like Evenly Matched on us or Infinite Impermanence. But I think that this is a really good foundation build for Dark World. Again, thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope you guys enjoyed my version of the Dark World deck. I think it's pretty cool. Of course, if you guys want to see more test hands, I'll be putting more on Patreon as a special thanks for helping me pay my editors, and I'll catch you on the next one.